Hello to all the CAT 20 aspirants out there. I am Akriti Agarwal from Media and PR Cell of IIM Amritsar, and I welcome you all to this panel discussion. CAT is just around the corner, and it feels like the clock is ticking just a little faster than it usually does. At this point in time, it's normal for self doubt to creep. But you, of all people, know how much you've grown in this period of preparation. Now you're just less than a month away from the D Day. This is a small attempt from the students of IIM Amritsar to help you plan your approach for the same. Today we have with us some of the brightest minds of MBA 06 batch. Let me take a moment and introduce you to the panel. In the panel we have Mr. Abhimanyu Prasad, civil engineer with over 38 months of work experience, Mr. Amit Savlani, an engineer in computer science, Mr. Laksh Juneja, an engineer in information technology and mathematical innovation with 12 months of work experience, Mr. Sarthak Saluja, a graduate in accounting and tax management, Shubham Nagar, a mechanical engineer, and Ms. Yamini Deepshikha, a graduate in finance. Without any further ado, I would like to start this discussion by posing a question related to the new pattern that CAT has adopted from this year on. And I would like your inputs on what are your views about this new pattern and how do you think that the strategy of the candidate should change accordingly? Do you think it should change or do you think it's just going to be the same game, just a little faster this time? Mr. Abhimanyu.
Hello everyone. It is not just a faster game. The quality of questions will also be affected. It will also be more focused towards moderate type questions, I guess. Solving any one section with such lengthy passages will be troublesome. Candidates have to come up with strategies to suit their strengths rather than attempting everything.
Mr. Amit?
First of all, thank you, Akriti and the Media and PR Cell for introducing us. What I believe is that CAT has always been the game of consistency. So the new pattern would not change the strategy of a candidate. The core strategy would remain more and less the same. There would just be a change in the approach of a particular candidate. So what I think is that a candidate should try to be very flexible with his approach. He should be ready enough to tackle any situation that is being thrown to him on the D-Day. And for each and every section, he should be having some kind of buffer time so that he can divide each and every section into two slots. Firstly, try to solve the easier ones according to his or her choices, and then keep the remaining ones for the later on.
Lakshya, what do you think?
So, if you ask me, I believe CAT is something that tests your aptitude and presence of mind in real time, right? And with the change pattern, there is nothing you need to change much in your strategy that you might have prepared this year. So, an advice I would give is just make sure that you don't waste any unnecessary time on a particular question that you feel is lengthy or difficult. The strategy should always be to find the easier ones and attempt as many questions as possible in the given time frame.
Okay, so now coming to my question that's addressed to Yamini. So most of us feel that the best strategy as of now for the last 10, 20, 25 days is to attempt as many mocks as you can and get yourself into that time pressure and, just attempt mocks. At the same time, I think people somehow don't realize the importance of analyzing those mocks, right? So what do you want to say about analyzing those mocks? What was your strategy towards it?
I think one should spend at least 6 to 7 hours analyzing the mocks, and this is what I did. For the initial few mocks, like for the first 4 or 5 mocks in these times, what you are supposed to do is you are actually supposed to analyze all the mocks. How much time did you take in solving a question? What are you actually supposed to? So you can visualize this thing that, okay, suppose if you are doing a mock, make a list. The questions that you should have done, the questions that you should not have done. And again, under this heading, you are supposed to segregate the questions you should have done and then you got it right. If you got it right, you're on the right track. Just check that you use the right method, you took the right amount of time to solve it, and you're good to go. But the questions after analyzing the solution, you saw that, okay, I should have done this question, but I did not. Why did you not? Why were you not able to solve that question? Was there a concept problem? Did you do a calculation mistake? You need to identify those mistakes and make sure that doesn't happen again. Then the question that you should have done and you left those questions, check were you able to view this question? If you were not, then there is a time management problem at your end. If you were supposed to solve it and you did not, then that's absolutely a minus point, right? So then coming to the other part of the chart, the question that you should not have attempted. You did that question and you got it right. Now what happens? You now know that you should not have attempted after seeing the solution. Maybe it was a chance of luck. Maybe you got it right after taking too much of time, and that's again a minus point on your part. Then the question you should not have done and you got it wrong. You did get the mark, you had a negative marking, you took too much, and the question you should not have done and you left this, you're on the right track. You found the question, you left it. So do you see this pattern? Like if you put it on a line, you're supposed to move all your questions. Like if you are taking the questions, more number of questions should be on the questions you should have done and you got it. And more number of questions on this part wherein the questions you should not have done and you left those questions. So you are supposed to move all your marks to that part of the chart, right? So and how are you going to do it? Only by analyzing. You can find out. Suppose you see a question, you have solved n number of questions on the mock, and that's how you'll know. You'll analyze it and you know, okay, suppose this question is supposed to be solved this way and not in any other way. Suppose you actually got it right, but then after maybe, after once or twice or after getting a third chance you solved it right, that's not going to solve the purpose, right? So that's how you should go about it. You take the mocks, you take a lot of time to analyze those mocks, especially in areas that you're weak. Like I did this strategy for quantitative aptitude because I felt I was a little bit weaker in that section and I needed to up my game in that. So in any section that you feel, so analyze those mocks, and that's how you make sure that you in the paper you actually see the question and you know that no, I'll not be able to solve it. Maybe I should keep it for later if I have the time left. So yeah, that's what my strategy was.
Right. And I also feel like certain people are very affixed on their approach to specific questions, but people be flexible to their approach with their approach towards questions. While analyzing a mock, if you get to know that the solution provides an easy and less time consuming approach, I think it's better to shift your approach from, to the one that's being suggested. Okay, thank you, Yamini. My next question is addressed to Amit. Amit, you are known as the human calculator given your proficiency and your speed in performing mathematical operations. So how do you think that this strength of yours added to your preparation? And do you think having speed in calculations actually provides you with a considerable advantage in CAT?
Yeah, so what I believe is that being a human calculator, I have always backed up my abilities on the calculation part. I have always tried to be in the favor of the questions that ask you to calculate the questions more on the conceptual side rather than on the thinking side, on the creative side. So yes, I have always tried to become more and more better in calculations. Coming to the point of linking my calculations in CAT, so I always believe that out of the 34 questions that were being asked in CAT 2019, there was always around few questions, like 3 or 4 questions that were totally based on calculations only. You should be smart and clever enough to choose that questions, and it depends on the personal strength of a particular candidate. For example, what I can give you a fact is just believe that attempting 65% of questions is in any section with 100% accuracy can take you in the top 1 percentile of the country, and that's a big game. So just 65% of questions, and you can be in the top 1%. So you should be smart enough to choose your questions rather than just trying to attempt more and more questions. You should be clever enough to be choosy, because the new pattern asks you in the speed front as well. So you should be quite more choosy as compared to the candidate who appeared in CAT last year. And after being choosy, you should be smart enough to solve them in an unconventional manner. For example, there are always some questions in DILR and in quantitative aptitude which can be solved with the help of the options that are being given. So you don't need to mug up the strategies that you have followed during the preparation of CAT. You need to be very proactive during reading the questions and analyzing your strengths, and then approaching the questions with the resources that are being available. For example, what I said earlier is there are always some questions which could be solved with the help of options that are given. So the person who sets the exam also wants you to be very proactive during the 3 hours of those examinations. Now there are 2 hours. So yeah, try to be very energetic and be flexible with the approach that you are following. That was my part, being a human calculator and using it with the fullest.
Right. Thank you so much, Amit. Now I would like to move on to Lakshay, who has managed a proper job and his preparation side by side. So Lakshay, how do you manage your time between these two things, especially in the last 20-25 days which are supposed to be the most hectic of all your preparation time?
So I get this question a lot actually. Many of the people who are watching this video are working and simultaneously preparing for the CAT. Maybe probably thinking of dropping one for the other. But trust me, you can do both. After working 8 hours at the office, I also felt tired and wanted to give up the CAT preparation and be done with it. But the end result, which the milestone which I could see, was something that kept me going. So the last month of preparation, as all my co-panelists have told you, is a very crucial time, and candidates need to work on their performance rather than their knowledge building set. So I also did the same. For that, I tried to keep aside 6 hours a day, 3 hours for attempting a mock and another 3 for analyzing those, so that I could convert my weaknesses into my strengths for the D-Day. And trust me on this, I believe everybody is not able to get together 6 hours in a day just for preparing. So don't worry about that. If you feel like you are not able to attempt a mock daily, just make sure you are trying to give 3 or 4 mocks a week, so that you can build up your strategies. So last month of preparation is a very crucial time, and it requires candidates to work on their performance rather than their knowledge. So for that, I'd suggest you to keep 6 hours for 6 hours. I did keep 6 hours aside, 3 hours for practicing a mock and 3 for analyzing it. But I get it, it's very difficult to set aside 6 hours daily. So just make sure you are practicing or attempting 3 to 4 mocks a week, so that you can convert your weaknesses into your strengths. And also I try to commit some extra few hours during the weekends, because you have a off from your office, you can invest more time into studying. So yeah, just make sure that this is the last leg, and you make the best out of it.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lakshay. I would like to move on to Abhimanyu, who is quite a talented guy and one of the most talented people in this panel right now. Abhimanyu, you are a guitarist, you are a dancer, you're a drummer. I mean, you name something and you're good at it. So how did you manage these hobbies during this last month of CAT preparation? Did you put them aside, or did these hobbies act as stress busters and helped you cape through it?
Yeah, so the difficult thing that happened with me, like Lakshay said, that we were working actually. So after slogging in 9 to 10 hours in office, you need a break, right? Who wouldn't want a break to cool off and recharge? Because after office, you need to get focused again and start preparing for your CAT, right? CAT examinations, and that too towards end portion of the in the last 1 month. So what I did was, I not only focused on my preparation, I also made sure to at least have half an hour or 1 hour of things that I like to do. For example, like Akriti had mentioned, I like painting or playing guitar or something like that. So what I was doing, I was just being true to myself. I was giving myself my time to recharge and rejuvenate, so that I can focus a lot more. And so these were my stress busters. So what I used to do is, I used to focus on my hobbies for at least half an hour or 1 hour a day, and focus on my CAT preparation towards the end, as in focusing on mocks, on giving mocks and analyzing them, 4 to 5 mocks a week, and setting aside 4 hours for CAT preparation, my CAT preparation, 4 hours a day for CAT preparation, 10 hours a day for office, and 1 hour a day for hobbies, so that I don't get bored or I don't get stressed and blow up my CAT examinations. So yeah, that was how I prepared for it. And I never really lost focus of CAT because of my hobbies. Instead, they actually helped me focus a lot more and helped me prepare better for CAT.
Right. I think it sends out a very important message that don't forget about yourself while you're preparing for CAT. Okay, let's move on to Shubham now. Shubham, you have an exceptionally good score in LRDI, right? And that's a section that most of the applicants dread because it doesn't really have a specific syllabus. You don't know what's going to be there. You don't know what CAT is going to surprise you with in this sim. So what was your strategy? How did you ace this section? And what are your suggestions to the ones who are watching this video for like preparing for this section, keeping in mind that very little time is left before the D-Day now?
3 things that I'd like to highlight. First is candidates should practice the previous year's questions and they should be aware of the different type of questions that are usually there, you know, the round table one or the one about tickets. So these are very few common problems which should be there. They should know about it, but they should not mug up the approaches. See, that is what is CAT all about. You should be able to come up with new and quick approaches. You should be able to identify the patterns. That is what this section needs of you. That was the first thing. Second thing is you have to be efficient with your time. We talk about time management, but you know what this section is all about? This section is about you have to do say 2 questions in 6 minutes. You are good. But if you are 5 minutes into a problem set and you have not made any progress at all, it is better to skip it. Very personal example which I share with others is that in the last time when I appeared for CAT in 19, I skipped a question only because it was lengthy, and yeah, that was one factor which I guess improved my score like anything. Had I gone attempting that one, I would have done maybe 2, but since I skipped that problem set and went on to the next one, I completed all the 4 questions from the next one. Also, one more thing is choosing the right questions. Like with time, you have to be efficient. You can't be like, okay, I've read this case, so I should solve all the 4. No, if you are doing 2 questions in like 5-6 minutes, well and good. You need not do all the 4 questions. Move on to the next one, right? And one very simple pro tip which I'd like to give is like you can start solving Sudoku. I mean, it's a game, but it helps your brain, you know, wire up things. It helps you grasp the different data which is given. Like nowadays, LR and DI come together. Like initially it was maybe I guess 4 or 5 years back, a DI set would be different than an LR set. But now it has been mixed together, where you know half the data is given to you from DI, half you have to come up with whatever facts has been given to you and approach the answer. You need not solve the question, you have to approach your answer. You might be thinking, oh, I have to fill up this table and then only. No, you must see the questions and find that yes, I found my answer, I need not solve it at all. That's it from my side.
Now we move on to Sarthak, who is among the top scorers of our batch. So Sarthak, it's a very obvious question to you. What do you think you did something that you differently than the others that helped you cross that, 95 bracket and enter the 96 to 99 percentile bracket?
Akriti, I just want to give the answer in just single word. It is believe. It is the most important thing that you should believe in your abilities. Have a clear mindset to achieve the goal you have set for yourself, and do not get afraid of CAT in the last month. The thing which I did was I gave proper time to each and every section. I've seen this during my CAT preparation that candidates used to focus more on only that particular section in which they were weak. But this is not something that is to be done a month before CAT. Last month is all about focusing on what you know and building confidence on topics that you are familiar with. Also, it is about taking full-length mocks, as said by Lakshay and other panelists also. Or I would suggest that you should also take sectional tests also, and analyzing them properly is very useful. From my personal experience, I would also suggest the candidates who will be giving CAT this year that never ever bring back the mental stress you had in particular section to the next section when you are going. Suppose that VARC is the first one and you failed a bit. So there should not be any sort of hindrance in your mind that, while attempting the DILR or the quant section. So that is a pro tip from my side.
Okay, so this was indeed a session where we had so much to learn. We had so many viewpoints to cater to. I just want to give you guys a last chance to just give some suggestion that you have for our aspirants for the next 20-25 days, that they can just, some suggestions that you have for them for the day they're attempting the paper, or anything that you would like to tell them. Shubham?
First, I'll just like to say that tension and pressure will never bring out the best in anybody. It will only hamper one's performance. Sarthak very rightly mentioned that do not take a stress of one section into another. Basically, keep your head cool, practice a lot, focus on your strengths and the positives that you have. Try out different strategies. The mocks that you give, try different ways of giving the answers. Be confident. And success would definitely be for all the candidates who follow these tips, I believe.
Okay, Sarthak, what would you like to say?
Yes, so you have come this far. So only the one thing is remaining, that you have to put the ball into the goal. So that's the only thing left. So just stay focused and give your best shot. Do not worry much, and everything will fall into place.
And Yamini.
So one thing is that last 4-5 days at least, do not try to give mocks or explore any more new strategies for that matter. Just if you have any concepts to brush up on, do that. Do a lot of reading. Read good journals and all of that. But don't try to put so much pressure on solving questions in the right time. Don't do that. Don't do, maybe if you want to give 1 or 2 sectionals, you can, but don't give full length mock. Do not exhaust yourself. Do not take a book or anything in your hand before you enter the center to read up on anything and try to do that. That just increases the stress level, nothing else. Don't do that.
It's also all about practice. Just practice as much as you can. But keep in mind that there is a time constraint, right? Practice with the time constraint. Do not practice without the time constraint, unless you're revising your concepts, of course. But while attempt it with a time constraint. This is what we have to share. And thank you all 6 of you for taking your time out and being a part of this panel. It was an amazing discussion, and we all have a lot to carry from here. Thank you so much. Thank you.